My name is Jessica Harmon. I'm 29 years old, and I'm about to tell you the story of how my family stole my grandmother's wedding dress and what happened when I finally got it back. My grandmother Eleanor died when I was 16. She was my favorite person in the world. She was the only one who made me feel seen. She was the only one who made me feel loved. She left me her wedding dress. It was from 1956. It was ivory silk. It had lace sleeves and a long train. It was beautiful. It was perfect. It was the only thing I had of hers. She gave it to me on her deathbed. She said, "Jessica, this dress is yours. It's been in our family for 60 years. I want you to have it. I want you to wear it on your wedding day. I want you to pass it down to your daughter. This is our legacy." I promised her I would. I kept the dress in my closet. I took it out once a year, on the anniversary of her death, and I looked at it. I touched the lace. I smelled it. It still smelled like her perfume, like roses and lavender and something I couldn't name. I saved it for 10 years, for my wedding day. I got engaged when I was 26. His name was Daniel. He was kind. He was patient. He was everything I didn't know I needed. I called my mother to tell her the news. She said, "That's nice, Jessica." She didn't say she was excited. She didn't say she was happy. She said, "That's nice." A month later, my sister got engaged. Her name was Amanda. She was 23. She had been dating a man she met on a dating app for 4 months. He had no job. He had no ambition. He had nothing except a proposal. My mother was overjoyed. She called me. She said, "Jessica, your sister is getting married. Isn't that wonderful? She's so happy. She's glowing. She's finally found the one." I said, "Mom, I'm getting married too. I got engaged first." She said, "I know, sweetie, but your sister is so young. She's so vulnerable. She needs more support. You understand." I understood. I had always understood. I was the one who didn't need support. I was the strong one. I was the one who could handle it. I was the one who didn't matter. My sister planned her wedding in 2 months. She wanted everything to be perfect. She wanted a big wedding. She wanted a fancy reception. She wanted a beautiful dress. She couldn't afford a dress. My parents couldn't afford a dress. They had spent all their money on her. They had given her everything. And now they needed something else. My mother came to my house. She sat down in my living room. She said, "Jessica, we need to talk." She said, "Amanda is getting married next month. She can't afford a dress. You have 2 dresses. You have the one you bought for your wedding, and you have grandmother's dress. You can't wear both. Give her grandmother's dress. It's the right thing to do." I said, "Mom, that's my dress. Grandma gave it to me. She told me to wear it on my wedding day. She told me to pass it down to my daughter. It's mine." She said, "Jessica, you're being selfish. Your sister has nothing. You have everything. You have a career. You have a house. You have a husband. Your sister has nothing. She needs this. She needs something special on her wedding day." I said, "Mom, she has everything you ever gave her. She has all the things you never gave me. She has the car. She has the clothes. She has your attention. She has your love. The only thing I have is this dress, and I'm not giving it up." The night before my wedding, my mother came to my hotel room. She was carrying a bag. She sat down on the bed. She opened the bag. Inside was my grandmother's dress. "Jessica," she said, "I'm taking the dress. Amanda needs it. She's going to wear it tomorrow. She's going to look beautiful in it. You'll understand. You'll understand when you have children. You'll sacrifice for them too." I said, "Mom, you can't take it. It's mine. Grandma gave it to me. She wanted me to have it." She said, "Grandma is dead. She doesn't care anymore. This is about the living. This is about family. This is about doing the right thing." I said, "Mom, please don't do this." She looked at me. She said, "Jessica, you're being dramatic. You always were dramatic. It's just a dress. You'll get over it. You always do." She walked out of the hotel room. She took the dress with her. I didn't see it again for 2 years. On my wedding day, my sister wore my grandmother's dress. It was the only thing anyone talked about. "Oh, look at Amanda. She looks so beautiful in that dress. It's a family heirloom. It's so special. It's so meaningful." No one mentioned me. No one mentioned that it was my dress. No one mentioned that it had been stolen. No one mentioned that I was wearing a cheap rental. My mother walked down the aisle with Amanda. She was crying. She was happy. She was everything she had never been for me. I watched from the front row. I watched my sister walk down the aisle in my dress. I watched my mother pretend it was hers. I watched my father pretend it was normal. I watched everyone pretend like nothing was wrong. And I didn't say anything. I didn't want to make a scene. I didn't want to ruin my wedding day. I just sat there and smiled and pretended like it didn't hurt. But it did. It hurt more than anything I had ever felt. I didn't tell anyone about the dress. I didn't complain. I didn't cry. I just put it in a box in the back of my mind and tried to forget it. But I couldn't forget it. It was always there. Every time I saw my sister, every time I heard her name, every time I thought about my grandmother, I remembered the dress. I remembered what they took from me. 2 years later, I got a phone call. It was from a seamstress named Mrs. Clark. She was 72 years old. She had been a seamstress for 50 years. She had worked on my grandmother's dress when it was first made. She had altered it for my mother. She had altered it for me. "Jessica," she said, "I need to talk to you. I've been keeping something for you. Something I should have given you a long time ago." I went to her shop. It was a small storefront in an old building downtown. There were sewing machines everywhere. There were dresses in the windows. There were pictures on the walls. She sat me down at a small table. She opened a drawer. She pulled out a photograph. It was a photograph of my grandmother. She was wearing her wedding dress. She was 22 years old. She was smiling. "Jessica," she said, "your grandmother gave me this photograph in 1998. She said, 'Mrs. Clark, if anything ever happens to me, I want you to give this to my granddaughter. I want her to know the dress is hers. I want her to know that no one can take it away from her.'" She paused. "Your grandmother knew your mother. She knew what she was like. She knew your mother would try to take the dress. She knew your sister would try to take the dress. She wanted you to have proof. She wanted you to have this photograph." I looked at the photograph. My grandmother was standing in her wedding dress. She was holding a card. On the card, in her handwriting, were the words, "For my granddaughter Jessica, this dress is yours. It belongs to you. No one else can claim it. This is my legacy to you. Love, Grandma." I started to cry. I couldn't help it. I had been holding it in for so long. I had been pretending for so long. I had been strong for so long. "Mrs. Clark," I said, "why didn't you give this to me before?" She said, "I didn't know how. I didn't want to cause trouble. I didn't want to make things worse. But when I heard your sister wore the dress at her wedding, I knew it was time. I knew you needed to know the truth." I went to my mother's house. I was shaking. I had the photograph in my pocket. I had never been so scared in my life. My mother was in the kitchen. She was cooking dinner. She didn't look up when I walked in. She said, "Jessica, what are you doing here? You didn't call." I said, "Mom, we need to talk." She turned around. She saw my face. She knew something was wrong. "What's going on?" she said. I pulled out the photograph. I placed it on the counter. "Mom, do you know what this is?" She looked at it. Her face turned pale. She said, "Where did you get that?" I said, "Mrs. Clark had it, the seamstress. She said Grandma gave it to her. She said Grandma wanted me to have it. She said Grandma knew you would try to take the dress. She said Grandma knew you would try to give it to Amanda. She said Grandma wanted me to have proof." I started to cry. I couldn't stop. "Mom," I said, You took my dress, my wedding dress, my grandmother's dress. You gave it to Amanda. She wore it on her wedding day. And no one said anything. No one defended me. No one protected me. Everyone just watched. Everyone just pretended it was normal. My mother didn't say anything. She just looked at me. I said, I need you to get the dress back. I need you to bring it to me. It's mine. It's always been mine. Grandma gave it to me, not to Amanda, not to you, to me. My mother shook her head. Jessica, you can't do this. The dress is with Amanda. She's going to pass it down to her daughter. It's in the family. That's what Grandma would have wanted. I said, No, Mom, that's what you want. Grandma wanted me to have it. She said it in the photograph. She said it on her deathbed. She said, This dress is yours. I have proof. I have the photograph. I have the letter. I have everything. My mother said, You're being ridiculous. It's just a dress. It's not a big deal. I said, It is a big deal. It's the only thing I have of hers. It's the only thing she gave me. You took everything else. You took my room. You took my childhood. You took my identity. You took everything. And I let you. I let you take everything because I was too afraid to fight. But I'm not afraid anymore. I hired a lawyer. I took my sister to court. I used the photograph as evidence. I used the letter as proof. I used everything I had. My sister claimed she didn't know the dress was mine. She claimed my mother told her it was a gift. She claimed she had no idea I wanted it back. The judge ruled in my favor. The dress was mine. It had always been mine. My sister had to return it. She didn't return it. She fought it. She appealed. She tried everything to keep it. But she lost. She lost everything. My sister came to my house. She brought the dress with her. It was in a garment bag. She handed it to me. She didn't say anything. She just handed it to me and walked away. I opened the bag. The dress was still beautiful. It was still perfect. It was still my grandmother's dress. I sat down in my living room. I held the dress in my lap. I touched the lace. I smelled it. It still smelled like her perfume, like roses and lavender and something I couldn't name. I put it in my closet. I took it out once a year, on the anniversary of my grandmother's death, and I looked at it, and I remembered her, and I smiled. I never got to wear the dress on my wedding day. My sister had worn it. I had worn a cheap rental. That couldn't be undone. But I still had the dress, and one day, when I had a daughter, I would give it to her, and I would tell her the story, and I would teach her that no one can take what is rightfully hers. If you've ever been the one who had to give everything away, I want you to hear something. You don't have to give everything away. You don't have to sacrifice yourself for others. You don't have to be the strong one all the time. You are allowed to hold on to the things that matter to you. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to fight for what is yours. My name is Jessica Harmon. I'm 29 years old. I got my grandmother's dress back, and I'm never letting it go again. If this story made you feel something, drop a comment below. Tell me the word that describes what you feel. Share this video with someone who needs to hear they're not alone. Subscribe for more stories like this. Thank you for listening to mine.